Good afternoon, all. A very warm welcome to the August audience group that is the audience group that is gathered here. I'm Kannaki Pugalenthi, director from PwC India. I'll be the host for this discussion. Now, after the topic of discussion, and before that, I would like to introduce you to the panelists here. We have a brilliant lineup of knowledgeable, insightful, and hands-on technology practitioners here. I would like to introduce you to Deepak Gupta, VP of Engineering from Cast24. We have Rohit Chatter, Chief Software Architect from Walmart Global Tech. Then we have Sarakar, Director of Data and Analytics from Porter. Then we have Jagannath, PV, Global Data Privacy Officer from LTIMindtree, joined by Neel VP Data Science and Analytics from Lenskart. We have gathered here to delve into a topic which is both timely and transformational for the enterprises. Harnessing the real business impact of data in the enterprises. I'll be setting the context for the discussion for the next few minutes, and then there'll be a QA with the panelists that here. In the era of digital transformation, data is the lifeline of the modern enterprises, be it digital native as well as the traditional enterprises. The new oil data fuels innovation, drives strategic decision making, and enables us to anticipate and respond to market dynamics. However, the hype lies and the true challenge starts when the vast ocean of data is ahead of us, which needs to be translated into tangible business value. And our goal today is to cut through the noise and focus on the practical and real-world application of the data to drive the business impact that we intend to. And our panelists here will share their data-driven journey and the stories, share challenges and innovative solutions that they have implemented to gain competitive edge, improve customer experience, and optimize operations. With this, I'll just start with my questions. I have a question to Rohit Chatter. Walmart having the global digital footprint processes 2.5 petabyte of data in an hour. So this is the strategy, this is the statistics that I have gathered, and we all are not new to the data that Walmart processes. To Rohit, what are the steps that you're taking to ensure your data strategy remains relevant and impactful amidst the evolving market conditions of shift from traditional enterprises to digital?
Thank you, Kannaki. I think Walmart has been using data over like last 60 years, strengthened more and more, help people save money and live better lives. We are the largest retailer, Fortune 1 company. We have stores around 5,500 plus stores. We have fulfillment center, DCs, obviously online. Almost, we say that close to 80% of the US population has at least used Walmart once in their life. So we are that widespread, that huge within the US itself, obviously in other markets also. So data is I think, core, because when you have that size of business going on, whether be it online sellers, marketers, or anybody else, you cannot really do anything unless you really have access to the data. Not just that, but the whole the market is evolving. The way the consumers today, they have too many options, and they want to try things very differently. They want to buy from store, return it. They want to order online, return it, or exchange it. Could be anything, that involves a lot of inventory movement and stuff. Now, how does Walmart make sure that we stay on our data strategy? We have data strategy lined up for each of the businesses, especially for the customers, right? Because customers is where the whole engagement happens. We keep tab on what are the new trends. At the same time, we also invent new trends, right? And so there's a term called adaptive retail. So we're making sure that the experience for the customers is frictionless and it's connected with it online or an offline, like in stores. And with that, with the advent of this whole AR, VR, mixed reality, now the customers can actually experience as if, so somebody bought a house and has a room and they want to decorate their room. They can just go online, provide the details, and then you can start shopping through the catalog, place the items onto either a wall or a room and 3D. And you can see that, oh, how does the room look like before I even buy it, right? So you have to make sure that the convenience is always at the top. You have to make sure that customers shop the way they want to shop, right? You don't force customers to come and shop in your way. They will naturally engage with you, provided you understand their needs and engage. So we keep check on the trends. We know where our competitors are also investing. We also invest a lot of robotics and stuff so that, drone delivery and other things are also happening. I think with those business strategies and the futuristic vision, we make sure the data and the pipeline and all the stores and dashboards and all those tons of reports that keep happening are aligned to that business objective and delivers efficiency and also the new growth areas. Thank you. That's all I have.
That was insightful information, Rohit. Thanks for that. Now I have a question to Argo. Porter has been identified as the third unicorn in 2024. They are the leading intercity logistics firm which provides the last mile, middle mile, and the first mile services. And data is the fulcrum of their business. So I have a question to you, Argo. Being a tech-driven logistics company, can you provide examples of how data has driven innovation within the products and services of Porter?
Sure. Thanks for the question, Kannaki. So of course, we are a logistics, but we are also a marketplace company. That's our business model. So being both in logistics and in marketplace, of course, the traditional problems that one can think about with regards to matchmaking, with regards to finding the right pricing, inventory management, demand forecasting, all of those problems are super relevant for us. And we have been leveraging data to effectively tackle those challenges for ever since we actually incepted. Previously, it was more like you use data to make sure that your business processes evolve and your decision making happens through them. Over time, we have also enabled certain products to be completely data driven, where every decision that you make with regards to which partner to allocate a particular order, you want it to be data driven so that your fulfillment is highest or you ensure equitable driver earnings on the platform. Other than that, of course, we are in the logistics business and not in mobility, which means that goods travel, but people don't. So which has other challenges with regards to how do you manage utilization of a particular vehicle? What happens to payment, right? Like who pays? Is it the payer? Is it the receiver? Is it the person? It might be somebody who is booking, who is neither the sender nor the receiver, right? So whenever these challenges happen, of course, how do you ensure that the customer experience and the trust in the platform gets maintained, right? So we invest a lot of data insights into solving these challenges as well. And we are very excited about what else we can do now with AI and LLMs coming in. We are exploring chatbot options, which is looking at our products and services. We also have a lot of internal products where we feel that LLMs might be helpful. That goes into typical developer productivity domains, but also internally with regards to, let's say, document parsing or understanding product evolution over a 3-year, 4-year time period and to question, right? So some of those use cases we are looking at. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Argo, for that information. Now, question to you, Deepak. From CAST 24. CAST 24 has plans to expand or already have been expanding in the Australian and UAE market, and they are also exponentially investing in the technical infrastructure. And I would like to hear from him that how are you preparing your data infrastructure for the disruptive technological advancements such as AI and machine learning and the big data analytics?
Thanks. Yeah. Yes, so definitely, as you have said, we, as a CAST 24, we have not just expanded horizontally across the globe. We have a multiple business line which take care of the customer engagement and the customer life cycle with association with the cars, right? So we have not just cars platform, we are NBFC, we are multiple businesses to support the workshops and this. Now, as we are growing up, one of the aspect is, yes, the data also grows up, and your need to have your all processes powered by the DS and the AI algorithm becomes very important in order to meet the need of the new age customer. In terms of the modernization, we have taken a multiple step. One of the steps being the cloud native. So we have been very sure from the start that in order to expand, we have to utilize the capabilities that cloud provides. Then taking up to the level that we are moving from our current data warehousing platforms to the data lake structure, because it adds up a lot of scalability and a very low cost, and also gives us a very agility in order to how we drive new platforms, new products around the data-driven platforms for our customers. And the architectural landscape, we are moving towards a Mendelian-based architecture, so that we have the right layers of the data being designed, and various stakeholder who has to consume the data, whether it's an model that needs to consume from the BI perspective, DS perspective, AI, or whether it's a business dashboarding or it's a customer directly facing, they're able to latch into the right layer and have the right latency being everywhere. And in order to have all this architecture and modernization, it is important to understand the data ingestion needs at the same time, because there are certain use cases where you can live up with the certain latencies, whether it's in a day or hours time, but there are certain definitely use cases which are touching across the customer that needs to be in a very real time. And so you have to have a very robust strategy, because if you try to do everything in a real time, then it is not going to have a very cost-centric and very robust solution. So considering the stability and the scalability of the solution, and in a very cost-effective manner, we have designed the various different pipelines, and based on the data set that is required, whether it's in real time or the batch mode. Thanks.
Thanks, Deepak. We did understand about the data architecture, the cloud adoption, and the new gen technologies like the AI and machine learning from you. Thanks for that. Now, since we spoke about the cloud adoption, I have a question to Mr. Jagan. With the latest cloud adoption fueling the data explosion and the decentralization of data, so how do you see the role the emerging technologies play in your strategy for data privacy? And how do you stay ahead of technological advancements in maintaining your data privacy security as per the Data Protection and Regulation Acts?
Right. Let me start with in a little different note. While we speak about data, I want to bring in a context of who all process data in the company. Right. Many a times we think of only one direction. In a typical organization, there are 3 or 4 different sets of people who process data, personal data for that matter of fact, or even data. One is the CIO, who is the custodian of all the data in the organization. 2 is the CISO, who protects the data. Right. 3 is the CDOs, which is the chief digital officers, who actually commoditizes the data. So it is important in our role. I mean, I would say it's a very interesting role. I play the role of a DPO to collaborate with all these 3 individuals, right? All these 3 parts of the organization, along with your businesses, which actually use that data or commoditizes that data. It could be HR, it could be marketing, it could be travel and immigration, administration, so on and so forth. So it becomes very important for us to understand the laws and correlate and collaborate with all these different roles in the organization. I'll give you 2 examples where it becomes very crucial for us being involved with in this collaboration effort. Right? Many of you, I'm sure all the organizations process recruitment data. Right? So talking about new technology, a lot of AI, the jargon is being used every other day. And new tools are being deployed into many organizations, AI tools and ADTs, which is automated decision-making algorithms. So there is a law in New York called 144, right? And it asks you specifically to call out how are you managing bias. And when we ask people what is bias, they only think about gender bias, right? And you will be surprised with the kind of biases that are already there in the system, which could be historical bias, it could be sampling bias, it could be representation bias, it could be cognitive bias. And cognitive bias is nothing but the person who is actually writing code or writing the algorithm, how he or she is actually putting a bias into that particular code, right? So it becomes very, very important for us to understand these aspects and correlate it to the organization. Another example is chatbot. Many of us think what wrong will go on a chatbot, right? Canadian Airlines were fined for a chatbot. They have a concept called bereavement fare, right? And the person who was booking the fare using this particular mode actually went and asked the chatbot, should I call out the bereavement upfront or later? And the chatbot said later. And then this guy purchased the ticket, came back and tried to claim the bereavement discount. They said it's not possible because it should be done upfront. And then he had to sue the chatbot. And then, of course, he was given the provision that the chatbot lied, right? So many a times coders think that what will happen with the chatbot? I don't need to really worry about anything of that kind. Similarly with Google, right? They had an AI engine that was trained on the last 10 to 12 years of data, right? For recruitment purpose. And unfortunately, it had already built in a bias. The reason for that bias is the sampling and the representability was not checked appropriately. And Google realized, it was Amazon. Amazon realized that the last 10 years, more men joined the company than ladies. So this algorithm or the data itself was biased, though it was a huge, pretty decent set sample size, which was almost 12 years of data, and then they had to roll back the application. So to answer your question, yes, it becomes very, very critical, and we have to be up to what's happening in the industry, know the technology, and always the technology is ahead of the law, right? So keep your principles of processing upfront at all times, because that's the standard that applies across, and be abreast with what's happening in the organization and collaborate effectively. Thank you.
Thank you, Jagan. That was a great insight. Now I have a question to Neel. Lenskart in the marketplace leader, which maintains a hybrid market strategy, maintaining both online and offline stores, deals with a huge volume of data to derive business insights. So how do you ensure that insights derived from the data analytics are effectively integrated into your business strategies? And also, how does it drive strategic growth for you?
Can you hear me? Yeah, okay, awesome. Thanks, Kannaki, for the question. Yeah, as you correctly said, we are, we have a very strong omni-channel play where a lot of our customers actually visit our app and then come to the store to buy. Because eyewear is a slightly different category than, groceries, because you want to try and be comfortable with it and order. And that's why if you see on our app, you'll see features like 3D try-on, to make you comfortable about how the glasses will look on you in case you also want to purchase online immediately. So a very good use case on how we are. So the idea here is that the customer experience is like prime, right? And when the customers wherever the touch point is, be it online or offline, how are we giving the best customer experience? So that drives us in terms of looking at data from that perspective, right? And I think one more important thing which I have seen over the years is that your org structure, how you structure your data org, is very important to understand how businesses work. If those two are not aligned, then there'll be frictions. So is your data team speaking the same language as your business and product teams? Are they aware about the same metrics that they're talking about day in and day out? And believe me, these metrics are not constant. They are like living beings. They change every day, a week, month, right? Because you're looking at something now, but it is no more relevant, right? So are your data teams up to speed on that? And that is where the org structure, I think, at least I have seen, plays a huge part in being aware about what is required right now. And are we able to give visibility on what happened in the past, what is happening right now, and what can happen in the future? And that can only be done if you are really embedded. The second, and the assumption here is that this will work, or this works well and gives business output. The assumption is that we are very data driven. So though it's a very normal thing, but is your culture data driven? Can you just get away by saying something without showing data, right? If that is the culture where you have to be data driven, and your organization's structure of data teams are well aligned with your business teams. And the last thing, which is the third pillar, is do your data folks have the right tools and technologies to work with, so that they can be swift and fast and to do all of this, right? And that is where the architecture, the technologies like Gen AI and ML and DS and simple dashboarding also is apt for delivering that speed in the right time and right quality. So that's how I would summarize that, how you can actually make sure that you are relevant. And then in terms of growth, just to give you an example, even for a new store opening, we have a model which basically tells us where we should open a new store and what expected revenue would we get, how many customers would we get. So this is again, when the business says, hey, I want to open stores, what can you give me? And then we come up with something which helps them to do this quickly, right? Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, Neel. There is a business saying, a culture eats strategy for breakfast. So going by that, even if you have the greatest of strategies in place, if your organizational culture is not aligned to the strategy, it will fail. So thanks for that insight. Due to the paucity of the time, I am stopping the questions here, but I'll just request Jagan to just give a few words on the closure remarks.
Thank you. I think we covered very interesting aspects. Well, in the interest of time, we had to really cut down most of our questions. Data is definitely the new oil in today's world, right? And I know it's been there for a while, but still, it's the most precious scenario in today's world. Well, we need to ensure that we use data in an ethical manner, and the organization should proliferate this message across, from the people who collect the data, who process the data, and who use the data and commoditize the data. That is a very, very important takeaway for me from this panel, as well as being in my role. If the organization doesn't understand, and if you are trying to put procedures and processes together, nothing will work, right? With that, I would like to thank the panel for the wonderful insights that they've provided. Follow ethical AI, follow responsible AI. Since AI is the buzzword, I'm trying to re-emphasize on AI, not just data, right? That's very, very important for organizations to understand. Thank you.
Thanks, Jagan. Rohit, do you want to add a few words as a closure remark, please?
I think he said it very well, right? Ethical and responsible. I think that's very important because we saw that movie, right, where the robo was the female. I think this recent Hindi movie, right? I'm not sure whether in 10 years I'll experience those kind of things moving around, us. So unless we are really ethical, and because it's human, it's created for humans, unless we are really ethical and responsible about what we're creating, we may end up in a mess. So better, we take care of those things. So yeah, thank you, Jagan. Yes.
Thanks, Rohit. So for any great transformation initiative, we have to concentrate on the people, process, and technology aspects of it. That is what our eminent panelists have highlighted as well. For a greater data strategy to be implemented and to drive a good business impact from the data data strategy that you're implementing, you have to concentrate and give importance to all the pillars that we just spoke about. And I hope this session was insightful to everybody who's here. And thank you very much to the panelists here. Thank you for your time.